Hello, it's day 129 of the Liberator project. Kind of. This is actually take 2 and it was a few days ago, but this is a replacement video. But I was just waffling on about relationships and stuff, so really it's not time critical and it's not related to the Liberator project, but I'm doing a video every day. If you're not interested in these personal details, I understand that. Just, skip forward until I'm doing something more engineering based. But in the meantime, people that are interested, I thought I would talk about my own personal life a bit. And if that's the sort of thing that's interesting you, if you're interested in, stay with me and I will just talk about relationships today. In fact, this might be several days. As I'm going to do the video again, I mean, that's given me a sort of an opportunity to sort of collect my thoughts. And what I do is I'll actually probably talk for a lot longer than I did on the original video. That's the plan anyway. So you can get, the perk of more information. So anyway, in my last time I talked about relationships, people sort of perhaps thought I was protesting too much about being into the fetish scene or being gay. And it's like, it just sounds wrong. As soon as you start saying something, as soon as you start denying something, it makes you look even more guilty and, makes it seem very true. Now, I've got nothing against gay people. I have no trouble with it at all. And if I was into the fetish scene, whatever, I will tell you. I haven't got anything to hide. I'm getting on a bit. I've got no shame. I will just tell you. So anyway, one guy emailed me and said he was very disappointed that I wasn't gay. I was a tease. And I thought he was joking, but then he unsubscribed from my channel. So may have been true. Oh well, you can't win them all, and I'm certainly not leading anyone on. This is, who I am, and this is, I'm not hiding anything from you. So I'm sorry if I disappointed him in that way, but someone finds me attractive. I just take that. Fantastic. Take it when you can get it. Brilliant. I appreciate that. I'll take the compliment. Yeah. Okay. So more personal details today I thought I'd share, and this is relationships again. And, I tend to go for, I'm going to say, what do they call it? Serial monogamist, something like that. So I do have relationships. They tend to last sort of, 6 months or a year and a half, typically. And, as I've been dating for over 20 years, obviously, that means I've been out with quite a few people. And, let's not go into too many details, but I'll tell you about some of the, main relationships in my life. And they haven't all been bad, but some of them have been pretty bloody awful. Obviously, they have been awful because I'm still single. So that sort of, gives you a spoiler. It's okay, so in no particular order here, we'll talk about some of my relationships. And I hope you find it interesting or, horrifying or amusing. But let's go, right? So I went out with this woman who said she was divorced, and I went out with her for about a year and a half on and off. It sort of, well, we kept having arguments about different things, and she wouldn't see me for a couple of weeks, but we kept getting back together. It was a bit of a stormy relationship, but over the course of the relationship, things sort of changed. Now, she told me she was divorced, and then after about 6 months it turned out she was separated, and then it turned out, well, I'll tell you, she'd always either come to my house or meet me somewhere. Now, I wasn't suspicious, you're going out with someone, you said to trust them to a point, and she gave me an address. Now, one day when she was, we'd had a bit of an argument, she stormed off or something. She wasn't in contact with me, and so I went to her address. Her address turned out to be the supermarket Lidl in Woodgrange Drive in Essex, and it was like, so obviously a fake address. Now, the next time she came round and, I asked her about this, and she absolutely assured me, looking into my eyes and absolutely insisting that I had her address, and I checked the address with her several times and said, is it that? She was, yes, of course, don't be She was all this fake outrage. And, she was just a liar. She was totally phony. And, perhaps I was naive, but I assume if you're going out with someone, that's it. It never occurred to me that someone would be, behaving like this. Anyway, it turns out she was leading a double life, and she was, still married. So, yes, I was naive, but you don't, if you go out with someone, you have to trust them to a certain point, otherwise there's no point going out with them. And I didn't really have any reason to question these things. If someone tells me something, unless you've got evidence to the contrary, you tend to believe it. So yes, I was very naive, but this was a while ago. Obviously I'm much more bitter and twisted and cynical now, but that was a complete blow to me. So that relationship was a bit messed up, totally messed up from the word go. And out of interest, she actually contacted me again in the last few weeks. And, she's still married and she still wants to see me. It's like, oh, God, run away. Yes, so that was a bit of a disaster, that relationship, all in all. But there have been worse disasters. I went out, anyway, moving on. I went out with an actual divorcee. Now, there are red flags. I should have known, things were wrong, because she owned 3 cats. And she made it absolutely clear from the outset the cats were her children and they were her priority, and no one else had more affection in her life than her cats. And she pampered them like crazy. She was completely considerate and caring and loving to these damn cats. I'm not even that loving and caring towards, my hedgehog, and that's my pet. But she was, she was just very much an animal lover and not a people person. And the trouble with her was that she never gave any compromise on anything. I'm talking about women. I'm not going to give their names, and I don't want anyone to guess who they are. And I'm sure that they have a very different opinion of me, and that's absolutely fine. They're entitled to their impression of me. I'm just telling the facts as I remember them. And, who knows who's right in a relationship. There's 2 sides to every argument. But, when it comes to the first woman, I was single, she was married. So really, I do feel that my view is the real view rather than an opinion. But anyway, this woman I went out with, divorced woman, she was very pretty, and but she would never compromise on anything. So if you had a position A and a position B, you have to compromise in a relationship. I would find a compromise, and then suddenly that would be my position, and then we'd be negotiating from my compromise position and her original position. And then a few days later, I'd find another compromise, and then suddenly we're arguing from my compromise position to her original. She did not give 1 inch on anything, and it was just ridiculous. And what would happen is she was very, very bitter about being divorced from her ex-husband. So what would happen? She'd have an argument, and it would be about what he'd done, and I'd done nothing. So I know I would say, but I didn't do that. I've never done that. And she'd be, well, don't do it. And I go, but I've never done that. I have absolutely nothing. I've done nothing wrong. She'd go, well, don't do it. And I go, but I haven't done it. She goes, don't do it. But I didn't. And it would just be arguments that had obviously happened years in advance with the guy she was married to. She kept bringing forward and arguing with me about them. It was like, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't do anything. And it just became very, very frustrating from that sort of perspective, because there was sort of an argument would draw in things that that happened years ago that was with someone else, and it was just insane. Now her inability to sort of compromise or get on with people did cause her to lose quite a few jobs. She was like that at her work as well. And while we're going out, we went out for about 1.5 years, I suppose. But during that time, she got a new job, and she started at a new company. Now, she went in as a newcomer, and she was unhappy that during the day they left the milk out of the fridge. which, is, yeah, okay, well, in an office where there's like 30 people, the milk's out because every few minutes, someone is, making a cup of tea. It's, they go through milk like the clappers. It's not really, it's the milk's out of the fridge, but it will be used up in like half a day, and you get another pint out of the fridge. So it's not really an issue. But her OCD was the milk has to go back in the fridge. Now, in your own house, that's absolutely fine. You can make these rules and you can insist on them. However, when you go into a new company, you've got to sort of compromise and fit in with them. And if you want to put the milk back in the fridge when you use it, that's up to you. But you can't sort of go into a new job and insist everyone else follows your rules. So over this damn milk, she had so many rows with people because, they've been working for the company for 10 years. They make a cup of tea, the milk's out on the side for everyone to use. And they sort of objected to her insisting they put the milk back. So in the end, she had a big row with people and lost her job. And it was like, the milk was irrelevant. It doesn't matter if the milk was in the sun, and out for weeks. You don't even have to use the milk. You can take your own milk in and use that and just ignore, just don't even look at their milk. But, well, so that was a problem. Now, it unfortunately, I'm quite good at compromise. I'm very good at listening to people. I've done counselling. I can sit down with someone and just, they can talk if they want. I mean, if someone gives me the chance, I will talk for hours, as you know, on the channel. But, I'd sort of sit down and listen to her, but it was always one way. It was very, very difficult. And, you couldn't get her to do anything she didn't like. And, I go to see Gary Numan pretty much every year, probably twice a year sometimes. But, I used to go every year to see Gary Numan. And I was going to go with some friends to see Gary Numan in concert. She wasn't happy about this. So I said, but I do this every year. It's got friends, we go and see Gary Numan. That's the deal. I've been doing that since, a long time. Since university, Gary Numan pretty much every year. And, so she wasn't happy with me going friends to see Gary Numan. So, well, I'm going. I'm not compromising this. I like Gary Numan. I see him in concert. That's the deal. So she insisted on coming along. Now, that's great. It's like, she doesn't want to be left out. And brilliant. It's like, I'd encourage everyone to go to a Numan concert at least once in their life. So anyway, when you think it's a bad move. So from the start, I just thought this is going to be awful. So she wouldn't goth up, and she was not happy with me, dressing up. So didn't do that. I still wear all black, but that's what I do naturally anyway. But so during the moment we set off, it was bad. It was so bad. And she moaned the whole time and hated it. And it's like, well, yes, you knew you were going to hate it because not everyone, and I find this hard, but not everyone likes Gary Numan's music. So she didn't like it, and it was going to be a bad day. And my God, she went out of her way to make sure she ruined it for everyone else. And it was like, look, you don't have to come. But if you come, which I'm really pleased. I bought her a ticket. I was delighted she came with me. But, if you come along to an event, it at least, endure it. But no, she was determined to ruin it for everyone else and be horrible to my friends I hadn't seen. She hadn't met them before. And it was just, bloody awful time. And it was like, well, why did you come? Why did you come along to make a point? Like, you're not going to change my opinion about Gary Numan. You're not going to change any of my friends' opinions on Gary Numan. And it's like slagging it off the whole time. Well, it's you're at his concert. If you don't like it, you can sit in the bar and I will join you afterwards. But anyway, that was a bit. Then of course I got, I compromised. I went to see Gary Numan. Well, that's not really how I remember the compromise being. It was a case of, I am going to see Gary Numan and you wanted to come along. And, I'd have been happy if you didn't. In fact, I think myself and my friends would have been happy if you didn't come along. But anyway, oh God. So this is I'm going to talk for hours because I've only talked about 2 women so far. Anyway, some friends of mine in Morden were having a dinner party. And I love dinner parties. I like cooking and love eating. And really nice people I used to work with. And I was really looking forward to it. You know, that she'd not come, for some reason, she hadn't come to the last dinner party. For I don't know why. She wasn't very happy with it. But we were going to go to this dinner party. And, bear in mind, I'd been out with her for the last 7 or 8 weekends doing exactly what she wanted. Even, driving on a Saturday morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning. We had to get up to go and buy fish for the damn cats. I don't even like cats. I like dogs. I like dogs and hedgehogs. I don't like. I like bats as well, actually, but I really don't like cats. So anyway, so after weekends of doing what she wanted, it was a case of this has been booked for months. This Saturday night we're going for dinner with my friends, and oh my God, it was, again I said, look, if you don't want to come, that's fine. I'll go alone. No, we're gonna go. So this was, bear in mind, this was sort of, we're gonna go in the evening, and from the middle of the afternoon onwards, she started to make a fuss, and then. It was getting on. I said, well, we need to get ready, to get ready. Yes, I'll get ready in a minute. And she had all these other, jobs that didn't need to be done at that moment, but she insisted we do them. So I drive her all over, going to the garden centre and the post office and whatever. Went shopping, did all these, tasks that could have been done another time. And then get back and it's like, right, we really do need to get ready. Yes. And again, it was like she was just dragging her heels. And I said, look, we need to get ready. And I got ready. I was sort of dressed and sat there. And then for the next 2 hours, she was dicking about. And it was like, are you ready? Yes, I'm getting ready. Don't, So she went up to the bedroom and I sort of sat in the lounge watching telly for, about nearly 2 hours, I think it was. Certainly at least an hour and a half. And, her plan was she came downstairs, she wasn't ready at all, she'd done nothing as far as I could see, and she goes, oh, it's getting a bit late now, it's not worth going. And it was like, that is so damn dishonest. You had no intention of ever going to this dinner party. So she just sort of dragged it on. And, I was, if she said she didn't want to go, like 4 hours earlier, then okay, we don't, well, I'd have still gone. But, fair enough, but the fact she kept sort of lying and dragging it on, then making excuses why we couldn't get there on time, and it was like, and I deliberately told her an hour, earlier than it was, just to make sure that we had plenty of time to get ready. And then she was like, oh, you lied to me about the time, and it's like, I told you a time because I knew you weren't going to be ready for that time. So, oh God, and then there's this sort of fake argument blows up, and it was like, yeah, I'm not apologising for that because you were just using the argument as an excuse that we can't go because you had no intention of ever going. So, that was really, really unfair of her. But anyway, she stormed off and I thought, well, I'm going to go to the dinner party. So I went, had a really nice, night out with my friends, and that was that. So there we are. There's 2 down in my, in my relationship schedule. I've talked for like 20 minutes, so really I'm going to split this down into more videos, which before I didn't go into much detail about things, but now I'm now I've had a little time to collect my thoughts and put some notes about what I'm the different relationships I've had. I can spread this out over a week. I think that would fill up a bit of content for the Liberator project. So if you like soap operas, stay tuned. And if you're a straight guy, we do some engineering soon, as soon as I can. But at the moment, it's we're going to have personal details. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Well, actually, it's going to be in a few minutes' time, but I'll split this down into another day. See you soon. Goodbye.